Yep, there's audio. Okay.
Yeah, I like to have tequila on hand for when I'm talking about the games industry because of what it does to me.
Yeah.
And I am recording here.
I was telling John earlier about Skill Up's show, and he's like, "Is he doing Dude's show?" I was like, "Yeah, it's like releases, obviously, and stuff you should keep an eye on, like put it on your radar." And then it's industry news that isn't releases, like this company's doing layoffs, or that company's doing layoffs, or the company doing layoffs wants to sell you NFTs.
Hey, guess what our news is like today?
Yeah.
Layoffs. Down, bow, bow.
I miss when video games were fun.
Man, do we have like? I wonder what the grand total of layoffs has been in like the last 3 years.
There is a website dedicated to that specific thing, and it is updated daily.
What is it called?
I cannot remember off the top of my
okay.
head. But you can literally, I think, Google like games industry layoffs total, and there's a website specifically for it that they keep a running tally on like how many layoffs have gone on. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, I think that's the same. Yeah. It just keeps track of just all of it. It's just atrocious. Okay, we're going to do a show.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We are rolling.
Perfect.
And rolling and go for it.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to Good Night and Good Game, your source for geek news for the weeks that were. I'm your host, James, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Hector,
Hello.
and our fantastic producer, John.
It's me.
And this week on the show, after the news, with the series wrapped up, we are finally going to have a spoiler-filled talk all about the series Peacemaker. But before we start, don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg, where as a patron of our show, you can suggest topics for us to talk about. Also, as a patron, you get access to our off-week episodes. We are now in Season 2 of our Tales from the Crypt watch and recap, and it's only $1 to join our Patreon. Okay, with all that out of the way, it's time to get into the Weekly Raid.
The Weekly Raid.
Welcome, everyone, to the Weekly Raid, your roundup of this week's geek news. Kicking things off this week, with the release of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein right around the corner, Del Toro opened up with what he would like to do as a future project. And while not even close to being started, he did state that he would very much like to work on a Phantom of the Opera project. However, he has some crime and stop-motion projects that are currently in the works before that.
I mean, awesome. Frankly, I cannot wait to see Frankenstein. If available near me, might actually go see it in theaters and drag my friends to it, even though it's a Netflix movie, because from what I can tell from the visuals that I've seen and from what I've heard, this movie looks fantastic. And if it's anything at all like Pinocchio, his version of Pinocchio that he
so
released
good
on Netflix, visual spectacle, deserves a big screen in a dark room, deserves to be looked at and studied over. I mean, what a gorgeous movie. So if this is anything like that, with Oscar Isaac's beautiful face in there, let's just, big screen that bad boy. Or just wait for it to hit Netflix and watch it at home, but do watch it. Do, absorb it. Don't put it on in the background while you do laundry. Throw on a bowl of popcorn and watch some Frankenstein, some OG horror.
If he
by
didn't
one
want
of
us
the
doing laundry
masters.
while he was making a movie, he shouldn't have put it on Netflix.
It's not his fault. No
They
one
gave
gives
him
people
money.
any money to make cool things anymore.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big year for Frankenstein fans because, of course, we have Del Toro's Frankenstein, and also right around the corner we have Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, which takes place in a 1930s gangster kind of vibe.
Hell yeah.
I'm so excited for that one as well, and that'll be a little bit later this year.
Yeah, I mean, Shape of Water is still one of my favorite movies of all time. It is definitely in my top 10 somewhere. I mean, it's probably top 2 of like my favorite monster movies and or, movies of that kind.
Yeah. It just makes sense that he would want to do Phantom of the Opera. It just does.
Yeah. What a wonderful story. I think he would do a Phantom of the Opera incredible justice, especially in the sets. The man is a set master and always insists on the best. He brought an elevation all the way to fucking Hellboy, and they were trying to make comic book movies.
That
on
is
the cheap.
true. That is very, very true.
So yeah, give me more.
It's almost time for Halloween, and what better way to celebrate than going to an IMAX and catching a re-release of one of the greatest movies ever made, Sinners. So between October 30th and November 5th, Ryan Coogler's Sinners is coming back, and if you haven't seen it in IMAX, and I certainly haven't, I have heard it's amazing since it was filmed for IMAX.
Yeah, you can tell when the scenes expand to the IMAX size if you watch the movie on streaming, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Apparently, when you're in the IMAX theater, again, I haven't seen it in IMAX. We would have to drive to Dallas to see a properly sized IMAX version of this movie.
We will not be near an IMAX when this comes out.
No, we will not. But man, I would love to do that someday. I hope this runs for years and that one day we decide to make that trip, because this is definitely something I want to experience. Apparently, the size ratio of the screen when it expands fully, and you get those big, gorgeous shots of the South and the plantations and the sky and the cotton fields. It feels like you're there.
Yep.
And of course, one of the coolest scenes in any movie ever. The scene. If you haven't seen the movie, this isn't a spoiler. The scene, the dancing scene in the music hall, where our main character is performing, is just big and beautiful, and he quite literally burns the roof off the place. I did. If you get a chance to see this in an IMAX, run, don't walk.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, highly recommend if you have nothing to do around Halloween time, find your nearest IMAX and go watch Sinners, because it is so good. Let's see, you're up next. Jenna Cannell, who's one of the breakout stars of the Terrifier franchise, has been cast in an upcoming all-female horror title called The Hatchery. This is from Bloody Disgusting. Quote, "In the film, 8 women awaken in darkness inside a cargo container with no memory of how they got there. Captives of a human trafficking ring, their fight for survival turns even more desperate when a violent storm hurls their container into the ocean. Stranded at sea, they band together against the odds until one of them begins to change. Her wounds heal unnaturally fast, her strength grows monstrous, and the others realize the truth. She's not just a victim, but a product of a horrifying experiment. Trapped with a predator, survival takes on a whole new meaning."
Yeah, I mean, what was the last all-female horror movie we had? Was it The Keeping Room? Like, I can't think of many horror movies at all that basically keep to an all-female cast.
I don't know, but I just heard a fun reinterpretation of the original Predator that it makes perfect sense if you think of it as an all-female cast horror movie. And Schwarzenegger is the last surviving woman,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that sounds great. As someone who hasn't seen any of the Terrifier movies, I'm glad that people in them are getting work, especially the women. We need more women in horror, more women doing cool horror stuff that isn't just being the final girl or being hot, but being awesome. And we are getting more of that lately. And I love the idea of an all-female cast in movies, especially when it's a movie like there was a quote, and I forget who it was. I want to say it might have been Elizabeth Cuthbert. Thank you. Who said she would be interested in being in an all-female version of Glengarry Glen Ross. I think it was that moment when I was like, "Holy fuck, I would like to see that." And yeah, I mean, this is great. This may be a stepping stone to one day getting that movie.
Yeah. There's another movie that's on the horizon. We talked about it years ago, but the rights were purchased, and we were supposed to be getting an adaptation. I want to say the title of the book is The Final Girls Club and the Final Girls Survivor Club. And the concept of it is that all of the final girls from various movies or whatever basically have a support group. And then people start dying one by one.
Oh no!
And it's I did read the book years ago when we first talked about it, but it's still being created as far as we know.
Patricia Arquette, get on it.
Right, let's go.
Keeping the horror train rolling, the legendary John Carpenter has announced he is producing a horror anthology series
again
called John Carpenter Presents. One of the other producers is Will Pascoe, who worked on the fantastic series Orphan Black.
Is this a Shudder thing?
They have not announced the platform, only that it is happening and that they are in filming right now for it.
I mean, yeah, John Carpenter can do whatever he wants. I'm there.
I mean, he's currently touring with his music.
Yeah, also that. So yeah, super in. I mean, Anthology is definitely a brand of mine because I love like tight 15-minute stories. We're obviously in the middle of our Tales from the Crypt run through right now,
Yep.
and it's been fantastic. And I just love the little bite-sized stuff because you get one and you move on, and you get one and you move on.
But again, I'm not crazy. He's done this before, right?
I'm sure he's
He
been
wa-
involved in
he
other
was
things
involved
like
in
this.
Masters of Horror
Also
on.
that.
I mean, that's literally what
Showtime.
that picture is from, right?
Yeah.
On our screen, we have a picture of him in googly eyes
I
and
don't know.
scrubs.
But I know him primarily from Masters of Horror, where he directed like a single episode or something like that. But
Yeah.
that's the whole point: is everybody gets one episode.
Yeah, I know he's been involved in anthologies before. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know if
absolutely.
he's ever done his own.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see it.
yeah, that's super exciting. Well, that being said, I think that we have, gentlemen, had way too much fun this episode.
Oh no, we're gonna talk about video games now.
Now it's time to talk about video games. So let's just get right to it. The state of Florida has launched a criminal investigation into the Roblox platform, claiming that the company behind it is failing to protect children from inappropriate content and online predators. Quote, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer issued criminal subpoenas to Roblox this week. Roblox profited off our kids while exposing them to the most dangerous of harms. They enabled our kids to be abused. Companies like Roblox have become breeding grounds for predators to get to and have access to our kids. End quote. So Roblox and this case is something I've really wanted to dive into on the show. So as this case goes forward, we'll definitely be talking about it more. But the TLDR, if you're unfamiliar with all of this, is that Roblox being a child-centric platform, there has been a lot of sexual predators on that platform. And basically the guys behind Roblox have said, and I don't have the quote right in front of me, but basically it was just like, on a platform like ours, you can't really get around that there's going to be like these gross people out there. And they basically just took no accountability for the fact there are sexual predators on Roblox.
Yeah, no. I mean, the analogy is like, all I did was build a park. Kids like parks. Pedophiles like kids. Pedophiles are going to go to the park.
Right.
And while in some sense I get it, in another sense, no, this is an online platform that you have every ability and tool at your disposal and all the creativity of a multi-billion-dollar company to, like, do something.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, that is a fake quote currently on screen.
Fuck them kids.
Just my joke.
But
But
look,
yeah.
I mean, I'm of two minds about this. One, and I never thought I'd say this, but Florida man, not wrong.
Mhm.
Like, this is absolutely a thing that Roblox is doing, pretty shamelessly, and they're like, "Who's gonna stop me?" We're a billion-dollar company
Yep.
that basically runs on child labor, and this is America. We
Mm.
fucking love child labor here.
Mhm.
Who's gonna have the money to stop me?
Also, this can't be the first criminal investigation against Roblox, can it?
No,
Yeah.
certainly not. I mean,
This is the first one specifically targeting this.
oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, they've been under, because they went public this last year, and like, Lord, they exploded the day. Like, I heard it on NPR that they were going public, and I was like, ah, shit, that thing's gonna go like an extraordinary amount. But yeah, the TLDR of the whole thing is just like, there are kids on this platform. I have friends that have kids that are on this platform, and when this news broke, and it broke today that this was happening, I sent this article to several of my friends, and I was like, we're going to talk about this on the show, just so you know, you need to be informed as to what's going on, because I've warned people about using the platform that have kids, because I'm like, inappropriate stuff happens there.
Yeah, like maybe get your kids into Marvel Rivals or something.
Right, something wholesome.
At the very least, they can, depending on their age, they can play against AI, and the worst thing that'll happen is they'll be called a slur, and it'll be, blotted out in the text chat, and just don't allow them to get on mic. Disable those mics, and they'll just be able to play with Marvel characters. This is not an endorsement of Marvel Rivals. It's just an anti-endorsement for Roblox.
Yep.
My other mind on this story is, why did Florida bring this forward? Aren't they like tossing their children and entire education system into the mouths of all the crocodiles every single fucking day? Like, What made Florida do this
It
except that they
look.
think
I
they might get
mean,
some money?
that
I
would
don't
be
know.
rumor and speculation in a news segment, but I will say it does look very good politically when you're like, I went up against $1 billion company because the child safety.
Also,
right, but what
also,
but if you're Caligula,
I
everyone's
can-
probably a little like, but what's your motivation?
I can answer that question from a slightly skewed perspective, which is that the reason we have Florida Man is because despite being, a swampy piece of conservative shit, they are also very public about record keeping. And so that's why we are able to find every story that correlates with any day of the week with Florida Man.
That is true.
because they are very open about their information policies out there.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does.
All right. Next up, the CEO of Remedy Entertainment has stepped down this week after the company has opened up about the week's sales of their latest title, FBC Firebreak. They are filling the position temporarily internally while they look for a new CEO. Firebreak was a multiplayer title that at its peak had 1,992 players on Steam. At the time that this article was posted, it had just over 10 people playing it.
Fucking oof. Speaking of Roblox, oof. Yeah. Would somebody pay me money to consult companies on video games? I could have told them, like, please God, I would have told you all to your faces, Mr. Former CEO of Remedy Games, that this game was going to crash and burn. You just let me play it for an hour. Play it for 2 hours, but just before you release it, and I'll give you the red light and say, here's what you need to do. Game looked cool. It's set in a universe I can't wait to go back to, in Control 2, but the game was lacking in so many of the things that makes a good, asymmetrical PvE shooter. Something with legs, something with longevity.
Yeah.
I had friends telling me about the problems with it 3 hours after launch who were just ready to get their refund.
What kind of problems?
Problems like in a game that has, say, maybe 5 levels in it, the variety inside the levels was not enough to want to play any of them more than once. So you can go through everything about the game in an hour. They may remix some things here and there, and they have things like different classes so that you can mix your group of friends into a set of abilities that should make your challenge easier as you move up the difficulty ladder. But without really heavy remixing in the way the levels move, say in something like Warhammer Darktide, you're not going to want to play the game that much. And when you're going to charge a premium price for it, or even a AA price, $40-50, people are going to expect for a game like this, multiplayer for hours and hours of gameplay with their friends,
So what
to,
do you
to get some time out of it.
what do you think happened? Did they just not hand the controller over to a random friend and hey, look at this? What do you think? Like,
I don't know. And I say that because it's Remedy. If it was EA or if it was, if this was Battlefield or Call of Duty, I would say, I don't know, fear of upsetting the boss, fear of telling people who are way above your pay grade the truth to their face, to being hard on anyone. But this is Remedy. It's not like, they're not EA. They're not Activision Blizzard. They make few projects a year, and this is one that I think someone told them they should develop because these are the types of games that make the big money that will allow them to continue making the incredible games that they do make that make middle money.
Right. What's our thing that will generate that Overwatch loot box money while we get the big projects out of the way?
And I'll say what I would have told them if you would have hired me as a consultant would be, hey, do not chase the Overwatch money. It's not real. You were talking about flash in the pan stuff. For every Overwatch, there are 15 to 30 FBC fire breaks. For every great survival game, there are 100 that got released that no one cared about. The same is true for every clone
Fucking
of
Concord, man.
Vampire Survivors, every clone of just about anything you can think of, every clone of Hades, every clone of, every once in a while, one will hit.
For those of you who don't remember, Concord was a game that came out in, what was it, 1994, and nobody played it. Yeah.
Yeah. The game, the AAA $200 million Sony asymmetrical multiplayer game that was trying to be Overwatch that did not last.
Genuinely
a month.
feels.
I think it died the week it came out.
Yeah,
No,
genuinely
it came-
feels like it came out years ago.
Yeah, it came out this year, guys.
Yeah. In memorandum, we need an in memorandum section for the Game Awards.
We
I think.
do in
Yeah.
memoriam for games that came out and died within a month
Yeah.
of, the playtest for Marathon, shit like that. Or unfortunately, for me, Hyper Light Breakers,
Right.
stuff like that. That one was
Yeah.
really hard on me. But yeah. I mean, I could have told you before you launched it, and fuck you, article, for scaring me, because for a second I thought Sam Lake was the CEO of Remedy Games.
No,
I'm so glad he's not.
he is not.
I'm sure he's a creative director or something
Yeah.
else, because he is a gem, and if you ever lose him, you lose Remedy.
Oh
by
God,
the
yes,
way.
yeah. You lose Sam Lake, you don't have a company.
Yeah, and
anymore.
Sam Lake will
He's-
go full Kojima and just make his own studio and make
Yep.
it Retroll instead of Control or
Mm-hmm.
something, and God bless him if he does.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you need to do if you're going to be Remedy Studios, is keep making Alan Wake games, keep making Control
yeah.
games, make a remake of Max Payne 1
Yeah,
and 2.
Sam Lake is their David Lynch.
Yeah.
Like in a literal sense, because most of the things that Sam Lake writes about are based off David Lynch.
Yeah.
So
just keep doing what you're doing. I will always buy those games. And there are a lot of people like me. Alan Wake 2 sold really well. It may not have sold like Call of Duty, but you're never going to sell games like Call of Duty. Call of Duty doesn't sell games like Call of Duty.
not anymore. They don't.
No, they don't anymore. And so, yeah, maybe chill. And if you're really going to pour some heart and money and talent into a game like FBC Firebreak, give it the time to grow, test it, have people test it, have people tell you honestly whether or not it's a good idea to release it right now. Don't rush things, because that's how you lose CEOs.
That's very true.
And the only way you should be losing CEOs is by deciding.
Although
you
I
can replace
want to
them with
say,
AI.
because remember that Remedy is not an American company.
Right.
So to put some perspective on you, God, what are they? Are they Norwegian?
I think so.
I think they're like I want to say they're Norwegian. The CEO of a company, usually the highest paid person in a company, looked at their company and said, I have failed the company with this last project. Respectfully, I am stepping down as CEO.
Yeah.
Not in fucking America,
Yeah.
you wouldn't.
What country are they from?
Like I think they're Norwegian, dude.
Yeah, stayinnorwegia.com.
Right.
Like, good lord. All right, let's move on from Firebreak. So over 400 workers of Blizzard's platform and technology department have unionized this week.
Yeah.
Woo!
The union leaders at Blizzard have stated that factors such as the return to office policies caused the group to form.
Good.
Quote, having more unions increase workplace standards across the board. So when they were asked about how unionization would help, they said that workplaces will now have to offer certain things in order to remain competitive for their workers. They went on to say that the industry itself tends to view people who make video games as disposable, and that we're hoping with more unions within the industry, we can turn that perception around, end quote. So this is not the first union to form at Blizzard, by the way. They have multiple unions now for different departments.
Good.
This is great.
It is great. Do this more. Maybe Blizzard will come back one day because the people who work at it have something to say about the direction it moves in. And maybe not. Either way, unionize anyway. Always unionize. Always, always, always. Power to the workers forever. They're the ones making the stuff.
Yep, absolutely. All right. We're almost through this week. This is good. It was a rough one, I got to tell you. Next up, Massive Entertainment, the studio behind Star Wars Outlaws, is suffering a round of layoffs thanks to their parent company, Ubisoft. Ubisoft has said to have, quote, introduced a voluntary career transition program, giving eligible team members the opportunity to take their next career step on their own terms, supported by a comprehensive package that includes financial and career assistance. End quote. This when it was publicly posted, became the biggest joke on the internet in the games industry. People were mercilessly mocking Ubisoft at the phrase voluntary career transition.
Right. How do we rebrand layoffs?
Get the fuck out, please.
Depending on where you live, how do we offer you a package so that you sign away your rights to unemployment or, government assistance or something like that? Man, if Ubisoft would have hired me as a consultant, I would have told them that Star Wars Outlaws was incredibly underbaked and no one was going to enjoy that. And everyone really wanted that game to be good. I wanted that game to be good.
You didn't want that game to be
As
good.
a Star Wars fan and not a particularly any kind of Ubisoft fan.
I wanted it to be good because I'm the only Star Wars fan in the world that thinks Star Wars is better the less Jedi you have in it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and I mean, and that is generally true, depending on the project. But nearly all of the best projects have no Jedi or very few Jedi. Yeah, I can say that. But this one, where you get to be a rogue, a scoundrel, and, go do some spelunking. I mean, if we had based it on Andor, it would have been great. But instead, we based it on, I don't know, Assassin's Creed
/ Gears of War.
/ Gears of War.
That sounds like an updated Wookiee defense.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
How are
There
you going
were
to base
so-
your Star Wars game in Call of Duty?
So many undercooked systems in that game. I don't think anything in the game was actually fully cooked. A game at times seemed written by AI in terms of quests and dialogue, in terms of some of the way the systems interacted with each other. This is a game, like all games, that goes under things like heavy crunch periods and, an over-reliance on graphics to really, sell the visuals of the game without ever sitting there and telling you how the systems work together. I've always said...
Hector's really pitching himself as a consultant this
hire
episode.
me as a video game
Please, God.
And as much as
I'm
I
not
want to
doing
mock him
anything
for
these
it,
days. I'm unemployed. Hire me as a game consultant.
yeah, these guys are way more qualified than 90% of the consultants you're actually hiring.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because I'm not going to show you a graph with projected sales numbers because that is horseshit. Anyone who shows you to that is lying to you in a chart. That I will tell you by playing your game before it is done if people will like it, and I will be right. I promise you, I will be right. You cannot pay me if I'm wrong. I guaranteed.
There you go.
I
That's
will
the
sign that
Hector
today,
promise.
Ubisoft or whoever.
I don't know. They're too busy having voluntary career transitions. going on.
Remedy, fly me to Helsinki. I will
Yeah.
work there.
Or James. James is already not being paid for
Right,
this
I'm
work.
already not
so
being- paid.
We as a team, we come with a discount.
Yeah,
We will
absolutely.
share an apartment to get us one apartment in Helsinki, and we will go to the office. We will commute walking to the office, and we will tell you whether or not your game is going well.
Absolutely, that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, like please. They will be better for all of us. Us for sure, and definitely for you. Because never again will you, if you take our advice, release an FBC Firebreak. And you will certainly never release a Star Wars Outlaws and then have to lay off a bunch of people and try and rebrand your layoff as something positive. Jesus Christ, imagine if they tried to, rebrand sexual assault as something... Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
I was just about to hop in and give my resume,
Yeah,
but that's the worst
Ubisoft,
transition ever.
Yeah.
Ubisoft's got a bad track record.
Bad track record.
James.
Pretty much everything since Black Flag has sucked anyway. So, I mean, here we are, Ubisoft.
James, bring us into the new one.
All right. So, it wouldn't be a news week if I didn't have a new segment. I like coming up with new segments that I only use once.
I love
Okay.
it.
Welcome to my new favorite thing. So, to wrap up the news this week, I have a small roundup that I'm affectionately calling Executives Need to Shut the Fuck Up About AI.
We might come back to this one multiple times.
So, I'm just going to give you a series of quotes.
Actually, hold on. I want to hear Hector deliver that one.
All right, so executives need to shut the fuck up about AI.
There you go.
Go for it.
That's the new segment. All right, so I'm going to read you a series of quotes from executives that should shut the fuck up about AI. Here we go. Dead Space co-creator Glenn Schofield said, quote, "We need to fix the games industry right now. It's broken, it's beaten, it's battered. Our developers are battered, and they've been taking it on the chin for the last couple of years. We need to bring it back to what it was instead of all this negativity. AI isn't here to replace us. It's here to make us faster, better, and more efficient. And AI is for all of us. It really is. Not just for directors and artists. It's for writers and marketing execs," end quote. Next up, the general manager for Battlefield creators DICE said, quote, "The technology of generated AI is very seducing," end quote. Former Sony Santa Monica director of production development Megan Morgan Junio said, quote, "AI is a tool and something that will augment human creators, not replace them. At least for right now, that's how I see it. It's going to evolve whether you're on board with it or not, so I want to be at the forefront of helping to guide how that goes and how we will use it. I think that if we don't embrace it, we are selling ourselves short," end quote. Hideo Kojima has said, "I think of AI as more of a friend, but one that he'd only let handle the tedious tasks of development that would lower the cost and cut down on time." That's not a thing that he would allow to take over the full creative process of production, end quote. However, the light in all of this is the producer behind Silent Hill F, the newest game in the franchise, openly disagreed with Kojima's statement, saying AI may have been able to put together a project for a sequel that takes place in Silent Hill's universe, but things like changing the story setting to Japan or getting famed author Ryushiki 07 on board as a writer are the kind of bold choices that AI would never make. That's that quotes.
That's true.
Every one of these people needs to shut the fuck up, said the okay. I really want to talk about that first one because he wants to bring gaming back to the glory days, whatever the fuck that means. The gaming glory days were when a bunch of teenagers like Carmack and his group could make a game in a few months in a room that they bought together, and then buy a big house and do the same thing again for part 2.
Right.
Those were the gaming glory days when it was simple and you could do it as a project and it made you actual money. If you want to bring if you want to take negativity out of the gaming industry, pay people what they're worth and give them time off and give them quality of life because they're creatives and they need that sort of thing. Every creative outlet has burnout if you do it too much. Mm-hmm. You take something that you have passion for and you turn it into a grind and you can watch all the passion you had for it wither away. That's how you make the gaming industry better. All of these people.
Also unions.
Also unions to protect things like quality of life and, a pay structure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But all of these opinions on trying to embrace AI for what it is good at don't understand what AI is good at. There is no part of the creative process that AI should ever be allowed near. I wouldn't trust AI to write an email and then send it for me. I have to read that shit because AI, all of it, all the time, even the ones they use for the military to decide who gets to die, that's real. Mm-hmm. All of it hallucinates. All of it returns false data. All of it has really weird opinions about things sometimes.
And can I just say how fucked up it is that for the record, I have played around with some of the most advanced enterprise level access programs of AI. How depressing is it that AI, all of your AI, still sucks at text? Yeah. The thing that every computer on Earth started with. Mm-hmm. Your programs suck at. Like, no AI can do text. Fucking text. Mm-hmm. Like, I know, like, scanners from the 90s that can PDF and interpret text, but AI fucking can't. Like, how embarrassing is that?
Yeah, no, it's insane what we're trying to get AI to do versus what it probably should be doing. Like,
It's a grift. And sorry, I don't want to get on this fucking soapbox, but we both work in tech, and it's a grift.
No, it is a grift. The entire thing is a grift, and the problem is we've leveraged our entire economy on it.
The fact that
infrastructure on it.
The fact that none of the numbers correlate to any value, any actual value, like we are living in a post supply and demand capitalism.
Oh yeah. No, I mean
where
we can talk about like the Sora 2 app, right? Like what it does is you put in a prompt and it'll make a video for you, kind of like a TikTok. The thing about TikTok, the thing that makes TikTok popular and profitable, is that we're making them.
Yep.
We're the ones making TikToks. If a data center needs to spend, I don't know, about $5 worth of electricity to make a video, and you probably need to make 5 or 6 videos before it spits out something even remotely watchable and not plagued by uncanny valley weirdness, how is that platform making
Yeah.
any money?
Considering-
It's not.
yeah.
It does nothing but lose money and then call attention to the people making it. It's a grift.
Yeah,
It's not real.
Absolutely.
It's not.
And
doing
also
anything
credit
you
to
want
whatever
to.
YouTube creator released a video this week that broke a lot of that stuff down. I cannot remember his name, but a lot of these points that we're talking about
Well,
were
Adam
definitely
Conover just
that's right.
recently
It was
did
Ed-
one.
It was Adam Conover that
Oh,
did it.
I did
pretty
not
sure.
expect to
Yeah,
hit
pretty sure that's who
that
it was.
nail on the
Who-
head.
who
Okay.
That's who it was.
literally said like this is what it costs to do the thing. This is how fucked up it is.
Yeah, it's super fucked up. Yeah, AI. Look, I don't know what you're expecting it to do. I think that a lot of people think it can code for them, but I've never heard anyone who can code say that. And I know they say that it can like go in and fix your mistakes, figure out where you maybe left out a parentheses or a comma.
But the funny part about that is that our software already does that.
Yep. Been doing it for a long time.
I've been screwing around in game development for a very long time. I'm not any good at it. I've yet to produce a tangible product. But literally inside of everything that I've used, primarily Unity and Godot, it recognizes when my mistakes are made and says, hey, you need to put a parentheses in there. That's why the
right,
code
you
doesn't
opened
work.
a statement and then you didn't close it.
Right.
Like, yeah, it figures that out for you.
Right.
An AI will too, but an AI takes like 34 gallons of water to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, great.
Excited
Good
about
job.
that.
You made everything worse. Everything worse.
And yet you're making all the money, even though you make no money whatsoever.
You don't use it, and you're not producing anything. I mean,
And,
TikTok
and
already
then
has
we
a lot of
have
slop.
the creator, the like one of the head producers of Silent Hill F, a game that bucks the Silent Hill trend of being in Silent Hill, sets it in Japan in the 60s, gets on board the original Team Silent people, including composers, and just crafts a very tight, small story about personal horror in the way that Silent Hill always is. Being like, hey, assholes, maybe we don't fucking do that. Even you, Kojima, I know that you're saying it's just a tool, but you're being a tool by saying it. That's my words, not his. Don't take that as gospel, but that's how I'm feeling about it. It's
No, that's
just like,
exactly how I feel about it. I feel like the people who are praising it have either never tried to use it themselves or think you can
Or
do
they
things that it
literally
can't.
forget what tools are.
Right.
Like
That too.
when you use a hammer, I'm pretty sure it stays a hammer the whole time you use it, and it works as well as you can wield it, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
I mean, here's the thing: is that it's just a CEO brain thing of just like if we use AI, we can do more and make more by us spending less.
Right.
And I need you to understand, and this is just, fuck, man. Like the company I just got laid off from that just closed down, basically. I was sitting there because I work in security and compliance and IT, and I'm sitting in this meeting with it's our quarterly whatever the fuck meeting that we were sitting in, and the head of the company is just like, hey, there's so many AI tools available, we need to start utilizing them. And I immediately shot up my hand and said, you can't do that because a lot of those violate many of the certifications our company needs to be operable. And if you want to know why a company's not operable anymore, I mean, maybe consider listening to your IT person when he says that you can't do something.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. yeah. This is my Muppet face.
Yeah, we had a fucking great comment in chat that's just like, this might be a long-standing segment. It's entirely possible.
It's possible we
It
come
is.
back with more of this later because, I mean, there's probably going to be a lot more CEOs that need to shut
the fuck up about it.
AI.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for the news this week. It's time to have fun again
Woo.
as we get into our main topic in the boss room.
Boss room.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. It is time for the Boss Room, sometimes related to the news, sometimes not. This is the part of the show where we can dive deeper into our opinions on things like this week's main topic, Peacemaker. Now, Peacemaker as a series is now complete according to James Gunn. And we've really been wanting to dive into our thoughts about it. And I wanted a fun Boss Room this week because if you didn't notice, news kind of sucks out there.
Yeah.
So, let's fucking talk about Peacemaker, man. Like I have many things that we could talk about here: cast, twists, storylines, tie-ins. Hector, when I say Peacemaker, off the top of your head, just where do you go?
I mean, the first thing that pops into my mind is that I really, really want to taste it. But that's from season 1.
Yeah.
So, the first thing that pops into my head.
I mean, this is a full, comprehensive
Oh, yeah.
Peacemaker discussion. So,
The first thing that pops into my head is obviously when it comes to Peacemaker, is the intro.
mm-hmm.
The intro for season 1 and season 2, two different songs. It's James Gunn's classic glam rock, taste just coming to life. Not because that's the only kind of music he likes, but because that's the music Peacemaker likes.
That is true.
And he likes to put himself in the heads of his characters when he writes them by listening to music that he thinks they would like.
Mm-hmm.
And man, does he have some excellent eclectic taste. And then he'll take that song, decide that this is the anthem for this season, and then have a group of professionals create a wonderful interpretive dance based on the storyline of the season.
Yeah.
And then have the actors from his show, who are not, in any sense, professional dancers, perform that dance.
But for the
poorly.
record, it's okay if the
Quite
only
poorly.
kind of music you like is glam rock.
It is, absolutely,
It's okay.
yeah.
I was raised
No
on
shade
glam rock. Like that's all my mom listened to.
Fine.
I mean, like we were a Motley Crue family. All right.
Literally no shade to anyone's musical taste ever. There's nothing wrong with any of it. Music, if it speaks to you, if it makes you want to wiggle your butt or think deeply about love or something, then it's good.
Or
and
think
it's
deeply
working.
about wiggling your butt.
Think deeply about wiggling your butt. Or your WAP or whatever. All music is great. And I think that's one of the things that makes James Gunn a great director. Because one of the first things you notice about any of his projects, especially Peacemaker, is the music. And it really sets the tone for the entire show, the entire series. When I think about Peacemaker, I think about John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Jennifer. God, I'm going to forget her last name, but she's the wife of James Gunn, and she's fantastic, and she deserves to have me know her last name. Jennifer Holland. Thank you. I think about.
I like you thanking your own brain for that.
Yeah,
that's very good.
I really wanted to think
Hector
of it.
literally just thanked his own brain for remembering something.
Yeah, no one reminded me. My brain reminded me.
Yeah.
I think about all the actors in the show, all the returning characters and all the new ones, and how great they do, and how a lot of them are, James Gunn's friends from other projects, and how the rest seem really perfectly cast. I think about sets. I think about quality of writing. I think about in a time when I don't really turn on comedy anymore. I used to be a huge stand-up guy, and I used to love funny TV shows. And I find it really hard to turn comedy on because I notice myself sitting there not laughing. And I don't know if that was COVID. I don't know if it's the state of the current world right now, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, please don't look it up. It's
They'll be back
awful.
from Saudi Arabia soon.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Soon, Hector. You can enjoy them in a week or so.
It's a show that makes you laugh. And sometimes you're laughing because if you didn't, you'd cry, but you're still laughing. And I think he really gets it. So I guess the first thing I think about when I think about Peacemaker is James Gunn.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, Gunn is the heart and soul of the show. James Gunn made me feel very seen. Even just way back when, even like during Guardians era and all of that, when he would like talk very openly about the music that he listens to during the process, how he listens to music for characters. I often do that when I write because I'm like a writing hobbyist. And so like I have a playlist on my Spotify that's just like music for the project I was working on or something like that. And it was so cool to just hear that that's a big part of his process. And it's not only a big part of his process, but that it's reflected in the final project. Like in mine, me listening to a song on repeat is just me getting through 4 paragraphs and making a notation on the side. For James Gunn, that's a scene, right? That's Foxy Shazam opening season 2 of fucking Peacemaker. And I got to tell you, I want to talk about the intros real quick because there are two very different intros to season 1 and 2 of Peacemaker. And I did, because I have ADHD, if that's not apparent, the ability, some might call it a superpower. I call it, I get really drunk or high sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with putting on a loop of both seasons' intros for an hour and analyzing them and deciding which is the better one. And I will tell you, based on my science, that the first season intro is fun and might be a great intro, but season 2 is the better intro. The song, the dance, the fact that everything in that second intro is reflected somewhere in the show.
Absolutely. You get the wonderful song "Oh Lord" by Foxy Shazam, which please turn it on. Wish we could play it for you, but YouTube will demonetize us.
Right.
But the intro is wonderful. It has just about every reoccurring character in the show.
The fucking alien.
The dance you get, the lyrics you get. I mean,
Does it still let the eagle make the actual eagle sound?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
It makes the actual eagle song. And oh, by the way, if you were unfamiliar, the first intro, and I want to say probably the second, I'm not sure. I can't verify that one off the top of my head. Alan Tudyk's wife.
Oh yes, yeah, she's a choreographer on the for the first season for sure. I actually don't know about the second season.
Yeah,
I think they came back to her. But,
I wouldn't be
I'm not
surprised.
100% sure.
But yeah, it's
Alan Tudyk's wife is the
who again
choreographer.
deserves more respect than me calling her Alan Tudyk's wife.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
my fucking bad because I didn't have her name right in front of me. So
yeah.
But yeah, like they made the dance. That was the first thing everybody fucking talked about this show. It wasn't like, oh my god, Peacemaker. Everybody went, did you see the fucking intro to this show?
Yeah, that intro is hilarious. I mean, it's amazing. It's like watching a dance rehearsal for a play that's going to happen later because you see it, but a whole bunch of people are just wearing their normal clothes and no one's smiling while they perform.
Right. And I also recalled a lot of people being surprised at the sound the eagle made because no, that's what eagles sound like because they are disgusting
And
parasites.
funny enough, Eagly isn't voiced by an actual eagle,
Of course
but a
not.
person.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely is voiced by a person. Fun things that you learn if you watch the Peacemaker podcast.
Which is great. I highly suggest the Peacemaker podcast. It's great to have, all of these people talking.
Yeah,
to
it's
each
great
other.
to just watch James Gunn cry. This is the thing. I don't think anybody loves James Gunn movies more than James Gunn does.
Oh, yeah.
And I fucking love that for him. In one of the final episodes of the Peacemaker podcast, he's talking about how Peacemaker really reminds him of his father and how much he loves his father and all the things that that were unsaid between the two of them, I think, before he passed. I can't remember the full discussion. Either way. And then you're like, oh man, James Gunn really broke down. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, right, so let me tell you about filming that final scene and what that meant to me. And he's crying all over again. And I trust a man that's willing to cry on camera like that. I just do. He's just like, let me be open and vulnerable emotionally.
Yeah, there's a reason he's a writer, right? And a director and stuff like that. Which brings me to my next point about James Gunn stuff in general. Obviously, we had Superman this year before we got Peacemaker season 2, and we've told you how much we loved Superman, and we might have to do a boss room about that movie too.
God, we haven't done Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah.
Shit.
I
been a busy year.
I know we talked about it. I know we told y'all we loved it and to go see it.
Not until we do Craven.
Oh, fuck that shit.
I could do Craven right now. Don't watch it.
Yeah, don't watch it.
The Craven
I'd rather
episode
do
over.
Creature Commando.
It is you guys are asking for Craven.
You can sponsor us on Patreon and we'll talk about Craven.
Yeah. Sony, please sponsor us. We will do an episode series on
Tell you
Craven.
what, you slip us a 20 on Patreon and we'll do a special Craven episode just on Patreon.
There you go. But so Peacemaker. James Gunn. being the director of stuff like Superman and Peacemaker, he knows from Trauma days and before and since how to bring a project in on time, on budget, how to plan properly, how to make sure he knows what he wants.
He said that they never work past 6 p.m., I want to say.
Right, unless it's a late shoot for reasons. They work within their schedule. He knows what he wants on the film or in the can or whatever we say in the biz before he walks onto the set.
Right.
And everyone is ready to give him that. And there's a little room for interpretation, a little room, obviously, for improv, but he knows what he wants a scene to do. He knows the beats he wants to hit. And man, like, it just works well. There's a reason he gets work. There's a reason he's the head of DC now, is because they know they can't spend that Disney Marvel money, but they're really trying to catch up.
Yep.
And you know what? For me, especially
It looks
this
better.
year, it's working. And yeah, it looks better because the movies don't all look the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gunn just has this ability to just, and this is something that we've talked about, like, outside of the, fun fact, Hector and I hang out all the time,
Yeah.
and a lot of the things that we talk about on the show, we have definitely discussed before.
Yeah,
and
surprised.
one of the big ones that we had driving down the road recently was the fact that this is just a personal observation of mine, may or may not be true. In my opinion, James Gunn makes so much magic on the screen for such a low budget because he comes from, like, the trauma horror background where you have $10,000 to shoot the Toxic Avenger.
Right.
And so he brings that same kind of sensibility and monetary value to what he does. We want to make sure that everything's wrapped up before 6 p.m. because people have lives. I have a life. You know, and he'll shoot late if the shoot requires it, but he doesn't make that the standard. He doesn't need a million takes from what we hear because he knows what his shots are going to look like. He storyboards very obsessively. He storyboards the way that, like, comic book artists do their storyboarding. And, like, all of this leads to a product that feels clean, it feels cohesive, and because it's mostly done practically, it really makes the CGI scenes stand out, but in a fun way, like when they go to the Candyland world.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, this was or the Hell world. And you're like, oh, that was very intentionally meant to be a CGI fucked up thing.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out, right? But then we have things like the fact that Peacemaker Season 2 and Superman were filmed, written and partially filmed at the same time. And so in Season 2, we get, like, Lex Luthor shows up. And they just had the set that they had already... And this is what I'm saying about when I talk about James Gunn being, like, a trauma director, knowing how to do things on a limited budget. In Season 2 of Peacemaker, they literally just lift the communication set from Superman and make that a set, and they make that part of the plot.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we got Lex's command center, we have it in a warehouse, let's go use it.
Yeah, quick,
And-
before they mothball it, let's get everyone in there and, like, light it really darkly.
Yeah.
Because, like, we don't have time to set up this warehouse like anything.
Right, and so literally, like, outside of the outside of the show, but also in the show, they are going to a warehouse where the set is, and they're just filming it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking genius, man.
It is. It's absolutely brilliant.
I gotta say, I'm very surprised I don't see any credits of him as an editor, because usually, like, that's the key. Is like,
I guarantee you that motherfucker has final edit.
I mean,
I
he's probably in
Well,
the
I'm sure
editing
he
bay
has
a
Final
lot.
Cut,
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
being said, in my at least from what I've read and from I've heard from directors, all of my favorite directors have an editor they know and trust to the end of the earth. Famously, George Miller, his movies are edited by his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
She's
George-
the real fucking
and-
power
because
behind-
she's the fucking
And-
MVP.
And
Yeah.
back when George Lucas was a good filmmaker, his wife was doing the editing. But then
And-
she ran off with
well,
a glassmaker.
Not editor per se, but Stephen King runs almost everything through Tabitha.
That makes
And
sense.
it's just like, if you don't like it, then I'm not going to release it. So,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about storylines within Peacemaker.
Yeah.
This is so. You have to applaud this show because the first season of the show, they were like, "Hey, we're going to show up." You know, Chris Smith is the name of Peacemaker. We're going to show up this fucked up life that he had where he, like, killed his brother. His father is a neo-Nazi. And is a horrible person. Played brilliantly, by the way, by like Robert Patrick. Just fucking holy
Oh,
shit.
God, yeah.
Man, so good. And then in season 2, instead of shying away from all of it, Gunn was like, but what if we put Peacemaker in a Nazi world?
The Nazi world. By the way, like, just so you know.
But we make his father actually anti-Nazi in this world, but everybody else is a Nazi.
And man, that was one of my favorite lines from the series is towards the end of season 2, when everyone realizes that this alternate dimension they've been visiting is the dimension where the Nazis won World War II.
By the way, good job, Internet. You guys call that within 2 episodes.
Yeah. So you get there and you're like, oh, everything's fine and happy, and look, it's all very Leave It to Beaver, and it's like, yeah, it is. They hide all of the people of color, and they're the ones working so that everyone can live nicely, which makes perfect sense when you look at it that way. But what you have in this universe is you have Peacemaker and his father and his brother who are still alive. They're heroes. They're celebrated heroes, and they go out and they fight things, and you know they do the heroing. They fought the exact same monster in their universe that Superman killed and fought in Peacemaker's universe, and. You know, that's the story of them. And when you finally get to actually talk, you're so terrified of Peacemaker's father the entire season. And when he finally understands what's been happening, when he finally realizes what's going on, he's the most reasonable man in the world. He knows that Chris Smith, our Chris Smith, killed the Chris Smith from the Nazi Chris Smith from his universe, and took his place because he thought the world was better here before he realized it was Nazi world. And he doesn't jump to anger. He genuinely wants to get them out of there and send them home, and so we can just change the code on the fucking dimensional door and be rid of them. And his brother, who's still alive in this universe, is crazy with rage and says, "No, you killed my brother. I'm going to fucking kill you." And he tells him to stop, and he tells him to calm down. And he tells him, you know, like, no, that's not what we're going to do. That's your brother talking. You know he wasn't a good person. You know he had problems with drugs, with women, with everything else. He couldn't hold anything down. And yeah, he attacked this guy, and this guy defended himself, and he died. And you know what? That's just the thing. And then you have Jennifer Holland's character, Harcourt, come in and say, like, well, fuck you, you're a Nazi. And he says, don't you dare call me a Nazi. I don't agree with it. And she says, but you're here. You're a hero in this world. And he says, well, I'm sorry that I do not try and right every wrong where I live. That if that's the way you live your life, then good for you. But I fight the enemies in front of me and the things that I can see and the things that I can do and the change that I can affect. I can't change the world as it is right now. And that hit me really hard because lately on places like Blue Sky where, you know, the leftists abound and in modern politics, especially on the left, where everyone's purity testing everyone, is like, well, do you pocket mulch? You know, are you doing everything for the environment? It can be challenging to hold yourself up and say, well, I'm trying, because everyone's first response is you're not trying hard enough. You haven't toppled fascism. You haven't done something about the authoritarian regime taking over the country. But we can't. Not alone. That's something we all have to do together, even if you are a superhero. And that line hit me harder than anything else this season. And there's some hard-hitting stuff this season. But him, you know, like, not excusing what's going on, fully saying he doesn't agree with it, but then saying, like, I can't fight everything. And, you know, if there are Nazis around, they're the ones you fight. I agree. But if the whole world is Nazis and the Nazis are in charge, you fight the battles you fight.
It is always ethically correct to punch a Nazi.
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Agreed.
Always. Yeah, I mean...
By the way, I'm showing the final fight scene in the Marine. Did you guys know
Yes.
Robert Patrick and
Oh.
John
I
Cena
did
fought
not
before?
realize that.
Yep.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to talk very briefly about Daniel Brooks, who plays Adebayo.
Yeah.
And
man, what a powerhouse.
One of the pieces of news that kind of came out when the series wrapped up was, and people's I hate the Twitter exists. I just hate it. I hate it. It's a horrible thing.
I don't go there anymore.
It's a bad thing.
I'm a blue sky now.
But James Gunn consulted with Daniel Brooks on the scenes that happen towards the end because they are very racially charged. And there were a lot of people on the right that were just like, God, James Gunn's such a pussy because he had to consult a black woman about the racism scene. You know, and then the other side of the fence is just like, that's the best thing you could ever possibly do. And I'm like, I mean, he did the bare minimum, guys.
Yeah.
And I say that as a compliment, actually. I need you to understand.
Yeah, the bar's in hell, but
right,
at
the
least
bar's
he
in hell,
met the
but like,
bar.
he literally was just like, are you comfortable with this scene that you're going to be in that involves racism as a black woman?
Yeah, racism directed directly at you for being black, by the way.
Right.
Like, let's not make any bones about this.
Right. Like, let's fucking calm our tits about this. Like, but like, Daniel Brooks, just as a actress, she has so many great scenes in the second season of Peacemaker. The sit down where she talks to Judo Master about why that's her best friend, why Peacemaker's best friend. How, you know, he's dumb, but he elevates everybody else in the room with his heart. When Peacemaker is crashing out and is having a depressive episode within this motel room, and she comes in to say, you know, like, you make us happy. There's a reason why we're all here.
Yeah.
And it's because of you. And taking that character who could have been just a side character, given that she's like Waller's daughter.
Right.
And really fleshing her out and making her kind of the heart of the team.
For sure.
You know, like a lot of people are like, oh, Chris, Peacemaker is the heart of the team. I don't think so, man. I think it's Adebayo. Like, she's the one that's like, I want to make something good. There's a reason why at the end of the series, like, they form Checkmate, which is a big deal in the comics. And, like, she's the heart of it. There's a beautiful scene between her character and her character's former either fiance or girlfriend.
Yeah.
Where they discuss how they love each other, but they want different things.
Right.
And it's one of the most human talks.
Yeah, it's
like,
wonderful.
Because, and I'm going to get a little personal about this. And I've had that talk. I was in a relationship for 8 years, and we got to the point where it was like, all right, it's shit or get off the pot time. We need to figure out what's next. And we sat down and just had a talk like adults. And by the end of it, we were in tears because we realized, like, we love each other, but we're not compatible.
Right.
Like we're together, but like, what does that mean when the things that we want going forward are so vastly different? And to see, this is multiple times Gunn has fucking done this, where he's written a scene like this. God, the fucking, like, he may have been your father, but not your daddy. That fucking hit me. I know that hit everybody. As somebody who has a couple of dads in my life, man, that scene fucking hit me. And yeah, the scene of the two of them talking, being like, I love you, but God, we are just not, we're not going to the same place.
We're not for each other. I can't live the way you want to live, and you can't live the way that I want to live. So, you know, that there's only one there's only one thing to do.
Right.
And I'll love you for the rest of my life, but we can't be together.
Right. And like, that's such a fucking human discussion to have.
And it's such an adult fucking thing
Right.
to do. And it's wonderful to see some adult romance, which doesn't always
Right.
end well. Why does adult romance always have to be the sad kind? Why can't it be the couple that just makes shit work because they're the most important things to each other? But I guess probably because that's boring.
Yeah.
But this is real, and it's human, and it feels good to watch, and yeah, it's just very well written, very honest dialogue, very emotional stakes, and God, it's great.
Let's talk a little bit about tie-ins. So, Peacemaker is very complicated because when the first season, Peacemaker technically started with the second Suicide Squad movie,
Right.
which is the only Suicide Squad movie that anybody acknowledges.
The only one that exists. I don't know
The
what
only
you're
one.
talking about.
Don't know what this first one was. It's definitely the second one.
Yeah.
And that happened, and the character of Peacemaker in that movie was kind of like, he was very aggressive. It was a very comedic role for John Cena to play. It was very in your face. It was very like, peace at no matter the cost. I'm going to jam my gun up your ass. And then at the end of that season, or at the end of that movie, we got kind of this like Peacemaker lives at the end credit scene. And everybody went, do we care?
Right.
And then like James Gunn was like, just you wait, finger guns. And here we go. And then we got Peacemaker season 1, and everybody went, what the fuck?
I did not expect to care about
Right.
Peacemaker.
Right? But then Peacemaker also ties into the animated series Creature Commandos. And God, if you have not seen Creature Commandos,
You
it
should.
is a James Gunn animated production about
Yeah.
all of the things that Guillermo del Toro loves.
Yeah, it's
And-
on HBO Max. I can't
It's
recommend it enough.
It is. You will laugh. You
So
will.
good.
You will cry.
Excellent voice
of
acting.
fun. Just excellent voice acting, excellent music, all of that. And then all of this ties again into now, by the time that Peacemaker season 2 rolls around, Gunn is fully the main producer for the DC universe. He writes Peacemaker season 2 alongside writing Superman. And he literally just says, hey, Nicholas Hoult, I know that you're playing Lex on Superman today. You've got about 30 free minutes. I'm going to bring you over here and you're going to shoot Peacemaker. And just throws him in there, and all of it feels connected without it feeling forced. It doesn't feel like Marvel has a habit of like doing these like mic drops with like a character
Right.
showing
Like,
up.
here's Thanos, only we've done that already. So here's someone you don't recognize.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to do a Blade cameo, but we'll
but
never.
that movie will never come out.
Right, well,
we're going to do something weird to what's her name from Game of Thrones.
Right,
And then you'll never see her again.
Right. But like it made sense, that Lex would show up when and where he did. Rick Flag Sr. The storyline that happens about Rick Flag Sr. is not only tied to the original Suicide Squad movie, or the only one we acknowledge, the Suicide Squad movie, but also tied to Creature Commandos,
Yep.
the animated series. Like, there's a thing that Gunn is doing really well right now, and not to fucking blow more smoke up his ass, but again, we've been dealing with a lot of Marvel stuff that hasn't been great. We're getting better with Marvel. Marvel, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
Thumbs
yeah,
up.
yeah,
We
you're
support
on the
you.
rebound.
We're on the rebound.
Keep
We
it
support
running.
you. But Gunn has this thing where he said, like, I won't announce a project until I have a ready script in hand that we are going to approve. It's the opposite of what we're seeing from Marvel Studios that comes out every Comic-Con and goes, here's the 10-year plan for Marvel. And here's all. Gunn's like, dude, we're doing max like maybe 2 movies a year and 1 TV show. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that is all we are doing.
Yeah. We don't need to have you watching DC shit year round.
Right.
Please don't, actually. It's a Miyazaki stance. You should not watch my movies every day.
Right.
Watch them once or twice at the most, actually.
And because of that, we really learned to care about these characters. And we could go on another Superman tangent, but we should talk specifically about Peacemaker, because Peacemaker is a character that's such an absurd concept that Gunn took so much care about, even weaving him through all these different tie-ins. And they make you care about Peacemaker.
They really
They-
do.
Like,
You
like
never
Chris is a
expected to.
character. Like, you watch this man who was abused by his neo-Nazi father, who accidentally kills his younger brother. During those first few episodes of Peacemaker Season 2, when he gets to meet the brother that he never got to have, that's the beauty of what Gunn was writing, because you weren't thinking about the fact that everybody in the background is all white. That was the thing
Right.
the internet had to rewatch that episode multiple times and figure out, oh, everybody's white in the background. That's weird.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Because we were so concerned with the fact that like Chris gets to be with his family.
Yeah. And his dad tells him he loves him.
Right.
And his brother hugs him and doesn't make it weird and doesn't
Mhm.
say anything about it. It's just nice that the family's there,
Right.
you know?
He's in this universe. He's dating Harcourt. We didn't know. All we
Yeah,
find out in season 2 is that they had a thing on a boat. We don't know what that was. And then he goes, and she, very guardedly so, is like not talking to him.
Right.
So when he goes to the alternate reality where Harcourt is in love with him and misses him and wants to be with him, he's like, well, of course I want to go be with her, because in my world she doesn't want to be with me.
Yeah.
You know, fucking one of the most brilliant scenes Gunn has ever written, I'm sorry, was the very beginning of Peacemaker season 2, where it just opens with this like therapist or whoever that works for like the DOJ or Argus, and it's just like, you need to understand that what you are suffering from is the most severe form of toxic masculinity. And then the camera cuts to Harcourt and she's like, but I have a vagina. And it's just, I don't know why, but
I've dated
lost
that
it.
woman.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I fucking lost it.
And he just explains to her behavior, how she acts, her patterns, and she's like, it's like, yeah, this is you.
Yep.
Yeah, this is your problem.
No, I dated a woman who threw away a fucking ankle brace because some doctor thought she was weak.
Yeah.
There you go. And like, it was both funny, but it's also like Gunn saying, like, everybody can have toxic masculinity. It's not just for the boys.
Yeah.
And I
It's true.
appreciate that. Like, fuck, I can say it out loud. But really, not only does the show make you care about Peacemaker and the cast by associate, the entire cast, you care about them. All of it feels cohesive. It feels like the DC cinematic universe, and I want to emphasize every single one of those words together, the way that we used to say the words Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? There was a time before the dark times where, like, everything was connected. Yeah, there would be a fucking Thor 2 that happens every once in a while, but,
Sure.
like, on a long enough timeline.
Yeah, pretty much once we got past Thor 2, everyone looked forward to everything.
Yep.
Where was Ant-Man the best series? No, not really. But you forgave them because you were getting 3 movies a year, and you knew you'd have another one in a few months, and that was fine. But it was ultimately completely unsustainable, and I'm glad they stopped, because I would have stopped going already if they hadn't.
But everything feels like a part of the DC cinematic universe, like down to Chris. When we end Peacemaker season 2, it leaves on a cliffhanger. And when Gunn came out and said, there is no season 3, everybody went, what the fuck?
Yeah, a couple people went, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of fuck yous about it. They were like, fuck you for leaving it on a cliffhanger. Why would you go and do that if there's never going to be a season 3? And he's like, it's not like these characters aren't going to continue in some capacity.
Right, you will see.
Like, there will be other stories where these characters will show up, but this is where the whole thing wraps at this point.
Yeah.
When Chris is finally happy, then we just shit all over him because Gunn's really good at that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I almost wish he had approached it a little bit differently, because it's one thing to say there's no season 3. That's rough. If he'd have said, look, we're not filming or working on a season 3 right now, we have other plans, that would have been a better way to phrase that. And for all I know, I didn't read the fucking interview. Maybe he did phrase it that way. I know that the media goes crazy with the way that they
They
quote
need
people.
those big headlines. Gunn says no Peacemaker season 3.
Right, and you know what?
Get a rage boner.
Yeah, and that shit pisses people off and gets clicks, I guess. But, like, when I think about what he wants to do, he doesn't want to make Peacemaker season 3 and 4 and 5. He's got projects that he's working on. And
He's
a
the
whole
fucking
bunch
head of
other
DC
projects to look
cinematic
at.
universe, man.
Yeah, and we can't just do a whole bunch of Peacemaker forever, but that doesn't mean he's going away. And you know what? That makes me happy, because I feel like at the point we're at right now, when you go from the only Suicide Squad movie that exists to Peacemaker season 1, where you get a full arc for Peacemaker from, idiot murderer to lovable idiot, seldom murderer, to a full arc of him just trying to self-actualize, trying to hit on the woman he has feelings for, or at least ask her if she has feelings back, and she's too much of a wreck to even, like acknowledge that anything happened, to having a group of friends who frankly kind of look up to him, who enjoy his company, his eagle friend and everything else, but still trying to figure out what's going to make him happy, and then being given this like fucking silver spoon through a gate of like that solves all of his problems, and with the help of his friends finding a way to reject the easy answers. we have the full arc of Peacemaker. We have that character in a place where if we put them in another incredibly harrowing situation, we have a pretty good idea how they'll react. If this was the Peacemaker waking up from his coma instead of in season 1 of Peacemaker in the next movie, we'd probably think he was going to be a villain. And like he was in the only Suicide Squad movie. But now we have something else to look at and something else to look forward to and another sandbox to play in when it comes to Peacemaker. So for now, I'm fine with there not being another season 3.
Also,
And if,
I just want to say something.
Go ahead.
James Gunn is really careful about his wording on things. He could be like, there will not be a Peacemaker season 3. Bro, they formed Checkmate at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
What's stopping him from being like, Checkmate season 1? It's just Peacemaker season 3.
Yeah.
But that's not what the show is anymore because the show is about all of them, not just about Peacemaker.
Yeah, I would take a whole show about Judo Master that's just like Odebayo and Chris in the background, like being buddy cops while Judo Master kicks ass, all 4'9" of them,
And eats Cheetos.
and eats Cheetos because they're his.
Also, we
favorite.
figured out he's a gay Buddhist this season, which was fantastic to
Yeah,
learn.
it is nice.
Yeah,
Because he doesn't give a fuck because he can beat the ass off of anyone who gives him shit for it.
right, exactly. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just wrap with a couple final thoughts about Peacemaker, just out of your heart.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful ride. If this is the end of the show Peacemaker and we move on to something else that just may have Peacemaker somewhere adjacent, I think I'm okay with that. I'll always remember this show for the intros. I'll go back and watch them just on their own, just for a little boost and some fun.
A little serotonin for that brain.
Yeah, I'll take away a new appreciation for like relatively modern glam rock that is very good. I didn't know about Foxy Shazam until this season, even though they have some songs in the last season. I wasn't like looking up the names of bands or anything. And now I'm like, well, this shit rocks. I want more of it. That song, Oh Lord, I think my final thoughts have to end with that. Because, you know, fucking Lord knows we've had some long fucking years, but you just got to keep on keeping on. And
That song hit me in a very personal place.
it hits well, and it feels good because it feels like a celebration and also an acknowledgement that, like, man, shit's rough sometimes. Shit's so fucking rough sometimes. And there's even a song this season about that's the wrong. Okay, so for any of you watching what's happening, that's the wrong Suicide Squad movie.
Sorry, I thought you guys were wrapping it
John,
up.
where did you pull up this AI clip of an incorrect?
Get my
Suicide
AI
Squad
clip
movie?
out your mouth.
This movie doesn't exist.
Yeah, but the just having those songs hit me. There was a song this season. It's a little bit of a downer, glam rock style song that's just a guy singing to a girl about how she keeps fucking his heart in the ass.
Steel Panther, baby.
And man, like I kind of sometimes you feel like the world's just fucking your heart in the ass, and no one wants that. But what I take away from it is you gotta keep on keeping on. You keep your fucking friends close. You keep going, one foot in front of the other. So, you know, nothing lasts forever, especially the bad stuff. And as long as you find a way to make it through it, there's always more tomorrow. None of it is final.
I don't think I could say it better myself. I'll wrap with just, I fucking love this show.
Yeah.
I love the way that it makes me feel. And it's a show that I'm going to rewatch, and I don't do that very often. And if this is what we have to look forward to next to Superman and the DCU and Creature Commandos, let's not fucking forget about Creature Commandos.
Don't do that. Watch it.
Man, the future of the DCU is looking very bright, and I'm so excited. And then when we come back from our trip, we're going to discuss the fact that WB is going to be selling off some of their properties. So we'll have that discussion later as we try to get more information about that. But for now, the future is bright, and we're very excited.
That's right.
But that's everything that we have for the Boss Room. But stick with us as we get into what we've been playing and watching in the epilogue.
Epilogue.
All right, welcome to the epilogue. It's time to dive into what we've been up to this week, what we've been playing, what we've been watching, what has been occupying our free time, and what has been making us happy. John, what have you been doing?
Oh, first random thought. I'll probably throw this at the end of the video, but I went to a Steel Panther concert, and I actually got VIP backstage passes.
Amazing.
And that is where I met the lead singer of Raw, whose name I can't rightfully pronounce, but he is amazing. And it was the funniest moment because when his manager brought him backstage, this little white guy was like, "This is the best singer in rock and roll," which of course makes everybody in a VIP room just roll their eyes and look away.
Yeah.
He's like, "Lead singer of Raw right here, baby." And I was like, "Oh shit, everyone. That's one of the greatest singers in rock and roll right now." And nobody had any fucking clue what I was talking about. But I sat down with him and I was like, no, you don't understand. I fucking hate the Police. I love Raw. He's like, "Oh shit, you are a fan." And so we talked for a while. That was fun.
That's great.
All
But
right.
on to what is our segment called? The epilogue.
Yeah, what have you been doing?
Three things. I'll keep the first two very quick. Number one, I am still continuing my journey of Halo, and I have to go back to something Hector said. Hector, you are right. Playing Halo by yourself eventually does feel like a sociopathic exercise, if I will. And but I will say, Halo 3 ODST, fantastic campaign. Even if you're playing solo, it is a beautiful story to go through. Right? And James, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna have a little all three of us playtime.
My
Super in.
favorite.
But I wanted to get through it all by myself, and I'm getting through right now. Actually, I just finished Reach, which was the same thing as Halo 3 ODST, except I hated all the characters, and every time they introduced one, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait till you die in a fantastically coincidental way." "Oh, you like knives? Okay, you're gonna get stabbed. Nobody cares."
Yep.
It was just, cringe. I don't know why, but
yeah.
I'm going to go to Halo 4, see what that's like. So that's been my Halo journey.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
when the 343 game starts. So
Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
yeah.
Yeah, my another small thing, I've been still playing chess, learning from the great Josh Watskin or whatever, and that's been fun. Also, I finally started watching the Ted Lasso.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
Club.
I haven't finished it yet. I just started season 3. And by the way, I was right about Nate. That fucker, that little shit is poison. And the beginning of season 2, I saw that. And I was like, wait, but I love Nate. I'm rooting for Nate. Why?
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes, sir.
I know that you've talked a lot in the past about toxic optimism and how
Otherwise
that's
known as optimism. Yes,
such
continue.
a dangerous thing. Did that inform your viewing of Ted Lasso?
Big
Because
time.
It is a big deal. Like optimism is a
Big
big part of
time.
the show.
In fact, the only reason I watch this fucking show is because I just finished a very, very large essay about optimism and toxic optimism and how essentially it is the poison that has been fueling the downshifting of our very world, economics, politics, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was like, but everybody keeps pointing to this fucking show, this little Ted Lasso, and saying, no, John, this is the optimism you're looking for. And I watch it, and I got to say, I had nothing to fear. Because anytime Ted Lasso drifts from being proactive and hopeful, which is what we should all be, hopeful, because hopeful is falsifiable, optimism is nihilism. Anytime he drifts into that nihilism optimism, his friends and colleagues pull him back. They're like, no. Fucking winning and losing are different things. They do matter. Like, they mean something. And if you don't want to recognize that because you're more concerned about being super duper optimistic, positive, I don't want to drink with somebody that's selfish. I don't want to hang with somebody who is that self-centered. And that is true. And I watched the show Ted Lasso, especially also because some of our former bosses and producers were obsessed with the whole Ted Lasso thing.
Oh God. Yeah.
You know, hanging little yellow signs with "Believe" written on them. Because I know, and this is kind of a message I'd like to direct to any bosses, managers out there, because I know you get home and you watch Ted Lasso and you pull yourself to sleep over all the results he's getting out of his players and his company and his team and his CEO. But I want you to think back. Was there any moment in that episode or in that season story arc where you started getting hard because of all the work that Ted Lasso was putting into those players? Did you start having to wipe away a little pre-cum because Ted Lasso learned the names and habits and behaviors of those players and putting the effort into them, because it is a two-way fucking street and none of you are Ted Lasso. Not a single goddamn one of you.
Until they bring me homemade cookies.
Right.
Yeah, so drop it because you suck. Anyway, so yeah, it did not deflate my thesis on optimism. It encouraged it. It doubled down on it. Like, damn, okay. Anytime he does drift into that optimism streak, people pull him back every time, and it's beautiful. But yes, Nate, I was so right about Nate, because I have seen that bubbling self-hatred, and you're rooting for those people. But I learned early when I was in LA, because I saw a lot of those self-hating, like, people who want your empathy. They want you to root for them, and they are dangerous. Usually it ends up in verbal or physical abuse. So at least, I mean, weirdly with Nate, at least the guy turned it into a cool job, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
So-
to wrap up your segment, who is your favorite character and why is it Coach Beard?
Because I want Coach Beard, like all of us.
Everyone needs a Coach
Everyone
Beard.
wants a Coach Beard by their side all the time. I'm like, God, maybe I could be. No, I could never be Coach Beard, but I could get a Coach Beard, couldn't I? Isn't there one in the world
Yeah.
that exists for me? Yes,
why I have
1,000% correct.
All right, Hector, what have you been up to this week?
Well, it's been a lot of work. At good times with my friends on the weekends. I went to go see the OCs on Friday. That was an incredible show. This is I guess I could call it like punk, but there's a lot of instrumentals. They change their name with nearly every album they release. And they're always the OCs, but they spell it differently just so that the Google and Spotify get very confused when you look for them. Amazing show. Mostly I've just been spending time with my friends. That's been what's making me happy lately. Hanging out with y'all and going to movies and going to dinner. And we watched The Lost Boys on Wednesday, and that was amazing. I hadn't seen that movie in probably like a decade. Maybe two, by the way. Just what a good time. Other than that, I've been finishing up Ghost of Yotei. I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the whole game before we leave for Japan.
But you're bringing your help me out.
I will bring
device?
my Steam Deck, but it
There
is
you
a
go.
PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah.
So
What?
it will stay here, and I will be playing Hades. And if I finish Hades, Silk Song, while I am in Japan for the next 2 weeks here pretty soon. But Ghost of Yotei has been phenomenal. It's been wonderful. It's been everything that I want. A safe sequel that is doing everything right, perfecting the game that came before it. I begrudge it not at all because I'm enjoying the characters and the story, and still every frame of painting, still one of the most absolutely gorgeous games I've ever seen. Every time I look at it, every second I look at it, it is so beautiful you cannot stop in your brain thinking, wow, that's gorgeous. Like, it never stops. It gets repetitive, and you want your brain to stop noticing. But it stays there, being the most beautiful thing you've ever seen the entire time. And I love it. It is entirely 100% my shit, made for me. Probably has to do with, whatever my dad issues are, in that I grew up watching his collection of samurai movies. But, like, this is a Hector game, and I will not rest until I've seen everything there is to see in it. And that's also been what's making me happy.
Perfect. All right, let's. I'm gonna try and knock this out pretty quick. So I'm replaying Resident Evil 8. I had played it before on PlayStation, got my platinum. Now I'm replaying it on my Steam Deck. I needed something. I've not been a person who's been replaying games until I got my Steam Deck. And now my Steam Deck is now like the thing that I replay games on. So I'm playing through Resident Evil 8 right now. I'm on my second playthrough, actually, where I'm on my 100% run. And then after that, I need to do my knife run. And then I need my under 3 hours run. I could possibly do that on the knife run. We'll see how that goes. And then finally, the Village of Shadows hardest difficulty run is the final one. But that's actually a cakewalk by the time you get to it, because you've got guns with infinite ammo. I fucking love this game. This might be, and I know And I need you to understand, audience. I didn't come to this realization until recently because I had always been like, Code Veronica is my favorite Resident Evil game. That's also the one that like 99% of people hate, so I'm really pretentious about it. I have played Code Veronica a few times. Resident Evil 8, between the PlayStation and now on my Steam Deck, I'm going to come up on like 10 runs.
Nice.
Like, I fucking love this game. And it's because of, not to get too far in the weeds about it, because the game gives you so many cool unlocks every time you beat it. Like, after you beat it for the first time, if you play like 2 rounds of the Mercenaries mode, you can unlock a gun with infinite ammo.
Sweet.
That instantly makes me want to replay the game because I want to play through it with infinite ammo. I need to go through and like kill all the little goat statues. Like I need to fucking do a run for that. All those things. But the game is so quick. And I say this as a compliment. Jesus Christ, do not take this as an insult. The first run through the game, probably about 10 hours. Every run after that, 4 to 5. Obviously, there's an achievement for doing it under 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you can do it, and it feels good. It feels good. You feel empowered every single time because you have a new weapon, a new item, a new something. Fuck, I love this game. It's so good. Ethan Winters is just an amazing protagonist, and I feel for him as he's trying to find his child. And, like, I care more probably about Ethan than I do the giant vampire lady. And if you know anything about me, I love giant vampire ladies. So, yeah, replaying that. I watched the first season of the Mayfair Witches on Netflix. That is an Anne Rice book series that I've never read before. Just like Interview with a Vampire, it's just 8 episodes. I have heard, I watched a couple of YouTube things saying that's very different than the books. It was fun. I will say, as somebody who recently watched season 1 and 2 of Interview with the Vampire, fucking watch Interview with the Vampire. It's on Netflix. You can probably get it in other places. But, like, Jesus fucking Christ. Mayfair Witches is good. But, like, Mayfair Witches is more leading into the new show that's about to come out called Talamasca, which is, like, their, I don't know how to put it I always think of everything in White Wolf terms. So it's like they're hunters, right? They're kind of like the Watchers from Buffy. Like that's what we're getting with Talamasca. And all of Talamasca is going to tie into the 3rd season of Interview with the Vampire, which is technically not season 3 of Interview with the Vampire. It's the Vampire Lestat. It's all good. Watch it. Fuck, it's a good series. Watch Interview with the Vampire. All right, video games. Get real quick on this one. Faith. Faith the video game. That is a like 4-bit horror game that I played literally in my Discord on stream with people. You don't think a game that looks like it would run on an Atari 2600 can be scary? Fuck you. It's terrifying. And for those of you who have played the game or watched me play the game, fuck Gary. You know exactly what that means. The second game that I played recently, I have a problem. It's called Father Forgive Me. You also play a priest in Father Forgive Me. Father Forgive Me is a boomer shooter. That means it's very much in the vein of the original Doom games. Father Forgive Me is a beautiful fucking game. It is a ode to Lovecraft. The art style is so good. You can do multiple playthroughs. There's the priest and then there's the journalist. There is an RPG system built into it. I uninstalled it after I beat it because I have other games to play, but it's a game that I kind of want to go back to and play like with the journalist because I didn't play with her. Apparently she has a completely different set of skills than he does. It's awesome. And there's a sequel that just came out recently. This is a game that tested me. Like most of the game, pretty smooth. Those bosses, they're raid mechanic bosses. And if you've ever played an MMO, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Raid mechanics are just something you have to fucking figure out or you are not going to beat that boss. My only criticism is the end boss, Cthulhu. Kind of bit easy, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, final thing I'm going to talk about as I wrap up the epilogue. We watched a movie recently, Paul Dude's Deadly Lunch Break.
Yeah, we did. What a movie.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
I need everybody to watch this fucking movie.
So we're in the middle of spooky season.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, this is, supposed to be a horror movie. And it debuted, and then it kind of disappeared forever, and then it showed back up.
So it debuted in South by Southwest here in Austin in 2021, I want to believe, and got critical rave reviews. and then disappeared until Shudder bought it.
Yeah.
I love you, Shudder, so much. All right, let's talk about this fucking movie.
All right. So Paul Dude and His Deadly Lunch Break. It's a movie about a man who lives at home with his mother in the UK. And, you know, he works at a shop in the mall. He's a little bit on the older side. One might call him a bit of a loser. But you know what? He's happy. He's living his life, taking care of his mom, who
Loves his mom.
Wheelchair, you know, she's pretty much wheelchair bound. She's not doing great. She's on some meds, and you know, she's his life and he's hers. And you know, he wants to be famous. He believes he can sing, he can dance. He's a triple threat, and all he needs is to be led onto this British talent show so that he can be discovered. And his mom's making him a suit, and he wears a lot of sequins, and he dances, and he kicks, and you know, and he sings a song, and it's all very sweet and very wholesome. And then things take a turn for the worse, and he goes on a very, very deadly lunch break, you know, while he's on break from his job at the mall, where his boss at the thrift store that will buy your merchandise and resell it, it's kind of a pawn shop in that mall. And his boss is also his therapist. So yeah, it's a laugh a second, hilarious fucking movie. And when the mayhem starts, all the greatest stuff in the world happens. Like the movie takes its gore very seriously and its comedy very seriously, in a way that is so silly and so tongue-in-cheek that it's hard to know which direction you're being pulled in while you're watching it, which makes it hard to predict what's going to happen next, which is the best kind of movie like this. Was it a particularly scary watch for spooky season? No, not really. But man, was it a wonderful movie.
It was so much fun. I watched it and then rewatched it with other friends in Discord an hour after I watched it.
Yeah,
and like
I
was asked, like, "Are you sure you want to? You just watched it?" I'm like, "It's that good that I want to rewatch it immediately after watching it."
Yep.
The way I would describe this movie, and this will, I'm sure, only make sense to like 1% of the people who listen to this, is that it is Black Mirror by way of Edgar Wright, inspired by Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
nice.
Totally.
Nice.
And if those things make sense to you, when you watch the movie, I hope you come back to me and say that is absolutely correct. This movie, like Chad is saying right now, needs to be watched by everybody. It is hilarious. It is fun.
Yep.
It's a dark comedy, but not too dark.
Yeah, and you can watch it on Shudder, which
on
you
Shudder.
should have.
$8 a month.
It's the best streaming service.
Right? Like, we support our $8 a month horror streaming service.
Hell yes.
I think it's also, you can like purchase it on Amazon. There's a few other places you can get it, but yes, Paul Dude's Deadly Lunch Break. Also, if you've watched The IT Crowd, Jen from The Office is one of the main characters in the movie. She plays the amazing janitor that by the end you just fucking love her character because she just like angrily cleans things while listening to metal music most of the time.
Yep, sounds like a wonderful job, honestly.
If I have to recommend a fucking movie, it's going to be Paul Dude's Deadly Lunch Break because it is brilliant. And please, everybody, see it. All right. That is everything that we have for the show this week. Don't forget that you can head over to goodnight.gg to become a patron of the show. For only $1, you can head over to facebook.com/GNGGcast, where you can chat with us, as well as at GNGGcast on Twitter and goodnight.gg on Blue Sky to talk to me directly. All right, everyone. Real quick, before we sign off, we will be off the air for a few weeks.
Where are you going?
Hector and I are going to Japan.
Yeah, we are. We leave on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, less than a week from today, we will be gone.
Yep.
And
we will post pictures
we'll
and
post
updates.
pictures, and we might even do a few shorts here and there.
Yep.
If we get some news, we'll do it in front of a shrine, maybe a bowing deer or something.
For the record, for the audience, they are, as far as I'm concerned, required to do some shorts while they were in Japan. Phone,
This is what happens
selfie,
when you get a producer. They get real fucking selfish.
phone,
about stuff.
selfie, fucking. By
Yeah,
the way, I'm
yeah.
in Japan, but I saw this article, and I'm gonna break it down for you for a couple minutes. Shorts.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm on it.
Okay.
We will figure this out. All right. So yes, we will be in Japan. We're going to be off the air for a few weeks. This has been a big dream of mine.
God, yeah. We've been planning this trip for almost, 3 years?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Never thought it was going to happen. I'm still in shock that it is happening and not quite wrapping my head around it.
My
but-
small dream for you guys, sorry to interrupt, but my small dream is that you guys are at some random crazy Japanese karaoke bar and some douchey businessman is like, wait, you guys are techies? I need a couple techies who speak my language. But you probably wouldn't want to work over here for twice the amount of money you've ever made, right?
God, please.
That is my hope for
God,
you
if
guys.
only.
Please, God, if only. We are
Yeah.
happy to do it. Yeah, we're going to go forget the world and everything for a couple of weeks in Japan, and it's going to be great. And thank you to everybody who listens to the show, your donations. Every donation for the show goes to upgrading our equipment and making things better. This was the only time in the entire over 11 years that the show's been in production that I pulled a couple of $100 out so that we could have a little spending money because it's because of doing the show and
Yeah.
it's being a part of it. And it was really cool to be a little bit more comfortable because people come in and donate to our show, and I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
But yeah, once we're back from Japan, until next time, for Hector, this is James.
And for James the Sector.
And for you, this is me.
Everyone, good night.
And good game.
Bow. Thank you, chat. We appreciate that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
We are heading out. I'm ending the stream.